the most tremendous new musical experience you can have.
Alright, what's up, y'all? It's Logan, and I'm here bringing you another one of my faves of 2019. This one being my review for Rapsody's album, Eve. Now, my plans right now is to have this video up a couple days before Christmas, maybe 2 days before Christmas, something like that, you know, the Monday before it happens on Wednesday. So with that being said, those of you that celebrate, I'd like to wish y'all a Merry Christmas. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I plan on being decently active this week, you know, 2, maybe 3 videos. I plan on getting my top 25 out a couple days after Christmas. I'm actually about to sit down and record that right after I finish this one, just to go ahead and bust them out of here. But let's go ahead and get into talking about this one. So, Eve by Rapsody, by far one of my favorite albums of the year. Not quite up there with Igor, but just below it. Absolutely love this project. Rapsody being the female rapper from Snow Hill, North Carolina. Me being from North Carolina, I absolutely love her. Not just because she's from North Carolina, but because she's also a fantastic artist. So I love claiming her as part of my home state. And who would have thought, just to go out there and say it right from the beginning, who would have thought in a year where J. Cole is nominated for a Grammy for his work on the collab album Revenge of the Dreamers, and also coming off of his amazing feature run for 2018. Despite the fact that I wasn't the biggest fan of KOD, his features for 2018, even continuing through this year, were absolutely amazing. So, considering that, considering how big DaBaby blew up, and the fact that he dropped 2 albums, and he had a rise to fame very similar to like Lil Nas X, just where he came out of nowhere and all of a sudden he's one of the most popular artists around. Who would have thought that by the end of the year I'd be talking about the best rapper from North Carolina, and it would be neither one of them. That's right, Rapsody, best rapper from North Carolina, no debate in my mind. I love J. Cole. DaBaby's not quite on that level yet, don't get me wrong, he's good, but Rapsody, she has put out 2 amazing albums, and she is only getting started. That, yes, going back to Layla's Wisdom, she put out a couple years ago. That's a great album as well. But going ahead and talking about this one, since we've given her enough of a history. Every song on here is absolutely amazing. The production, very consistent. It fits all into a clear narrative that works for this project. And okay, so for the title of the album, Eve, that fits within the frame of every single song, is the name of a famous and influential black female in history, Eve being her. You have so many different great tracks on here, all named after, again, influential black females in history. So I'm not going to go through every single song, although I will say every single song is absolutely amazing. First, I'll go through the features. So, let's see, we get a D'Angelo and GZA feature, where you also get a sample of a Wu-Tang song, and both of them perform very well. It's very interesting to see her dynamic with GZA and his, you know, Wu-Tang style, his grittiness and all that on the track, and how she matches that, because she does have a little bit of grittiness to her, despite the fact that she is a very fluid and smooth sounding artist with amazing lyricism. Both of them have very amazing lyricism. Moving on from that, you get another track, Iman, where you have Sir and Jid, and both of them perform very well. Of course, Sir providing you with the very smooth vocals, and then Jid providing a rather good verse. Not one that's like stand out for Jid's sakes, but still very good, and very much an important part of this track. Next track, she has a Queen Latifah feature, actually, and that is by far the best feature on this album. Of course, everyone loves hearing 2 rap queens performing together, and Queen Latifah, being that she's been out of the game for quite a while, and she used to be like so huge in the game, it was just great to hear from her again, and she very well performs on this track. Let's see, moving on, the very next track has a J. Cole feature, which is great to hear from 2, well, the 2, in my opinion, the 2 most important North Carolina rappers ever, because there's not many of them. But these 2 perform very well together. J. Cole doesn't have his best feature, considering what I just mentioned about his run in 2018 extending into this year. It's not his best feature, but it is still really good, and you know what to expect from J. Cole. So he does perform very well, although, again, it's not the best feature on this album. I would still give that to Queen Latifah, but it is good. Now, going through the topics in this project, the main topic here is all talking about black excellence, female excellence, and, of course, specifically black female excellence. Just trying to uplift one of the most marginalized groups in history, trying to uplift them, trying to help them see their worth, their value, how important they are to society, and just forget about how they have been beat down because they know their value and their worth. And that is something that really needs to be talked about a lot. I feel like that gets cast to the side a lot. Of course, we have had a lot more focus on black excellence and talking about racial injustice, but there just hasn't been as much focus on the black female, because we all know females tend to be a more marginalized group, and of course African Americans, they also tend to be more marginalized. So when you combine those two together, that really puts you even lower on the totem pole, and it's just important to see that people are acknowledging that, talking about that, and there's no one better to talk about that than Rapsody, because she has an amazing understanding. One, having been through it her entire life, but two, just being an extremely smart individual who is capable of putting pen to paper and, kind of telling you her story, telling what it's like, and then like talking about the history of it, how it's gone down and all that. Now, I just want to shout out a couple of tracks that I specifically like. I love the intro track. I love how it starts out with with a sample on there. It's the same sample that you hear on Blood on the Leaves by Kanye West. Works very well, has a very eerie vibe to begin the album. The very next track, Cleo, that has a sample from In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins, and that was an amazing, an incredibly used sample. Fits very well with the track. Next, I want to go to the song Maya. I'm going to be honest, the main reason I remember this song, well, one, it is, in my opinion, her best show of lyricism, but two, she has a lyric on here where she says, "I'm not the one to cross, I left that burden to Lecrae," and I thought that was, well, again, of course, incredible lyricism, but I love the shout out to Lecrae. That's incredible. I know I'm biased, whatever. Really good performance there. And then the song Afeni, where she samples Tupac's "Keep Your Head Up." I thought that was a perfect sample for an album like this, because he is talking a lot about how we need to respect women, and of course he's talking about black female excellence on that one. And then of course the title Afeni, talking about Afeni Shakur, Tupac's mother. Like I said, this album just works very well, just uplifting that group of people and helping them understand how important they are to history and how important they are now. I love the idea of having just first names as the title of the albums and how that kind of fits into the frame of the message of the song. Again, it just helps to point out, I think there's 16 tracks. 16 tracks, an hour and 3 minutes long. It honestly is a breeze to get through. I've listened to it so many times, and it's just so intriguing that hour and 3 minutes feels like about 20 minutes because you're just picking up on so many different things. But again, getting back to what I was saying, just having those 16 different names of people who were important, whether it was some people in biblical times all the way through, like Oprah and Whoopi Goldberg and Afeni Shakur, people like that being mentioned. It's just huge to see. These are 16 black women who have been important in history and are relatively well known. Of course, the people that we know now, but then if you even look into history books, some of these women will appear in history books. And it's incredible to see that, and that's a great way to point out, even if you don't listen to the album, you see, no matter what, if you even look at it, you see 16 names that are important to history. And then when you do decide to listen to it, you hear even more, and you are even more engaging and being educated in that sense. Overall, I loved this album the first time I listened to it, and every time I listen to it, I pick up on more and fall in love with it even more. There is so much you can learn from this. I love the fact that Rapsody is an incredible female rapper. This is the second straight year that we've gotten an incredible female rap album. Of course, throwing back to Room 25 by No Name last year. But I've got to say, Rapsody, she is the best female rapper. She is the best rapper from North Carolina, and she is on her way to being she already is one of the best rappers nowadays, but she is on her way to being like top 5, top 10 in the game right now. She has performed incredibly. I am incredibly invested into her career, and I highly recommend that you check her out more because she is headed in a great direction. And I mean, she has great beat selection, she has great lyricism, she chooses great topics, she puts together incredible, consistent, concise albums that have everything they need in them and nothing that they don't need. So I highly recommend you check her out and listen to her more. This album is definitely going to be on my top 10 for the year. Spoiler alert, it is in my top 25 of the decade. So whenever you hear that list in a couple of days, this album will be familiar, and I will give a little blurb about it there. Highly recommend checking it out. It is a 9 out of 10 for me, just below Igor for album of the year. And with that being said, that's all I have to say about this incredible album. Let me know what you think about it in the comments section. Let me know if there's any albums that you would like me to talk about as the year ends. There's not really anything that much new coming out that I'm going to be checking out, so I'm going to try to get a couple of these out. So let me know if there's any that you would want me to talk about. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe, share the video, hit the bell next to my name for notifications, and I appreciate y'all watching, and I will hit y'all up next time.